Hi, you guys. I I had a whole bunch of notes today, and I left them over on the desk, and and I can't go back. I can't go back and get them. It takes me a long time to get set up and sit down, and get the cards ready and all of that. So this is going to be a bit extemporaneous, which is probably better. Hello. Here we are again. Another day dawning. Oh, which leads me to one of the things I was thinking about, which is somebody mentioned yesterday in a comment how he cleaved to when he was in his 20s. And I was thinking back, because we need to cleave to something. It's like we're a little bit adrift at sea, and what do you hold on to sort of stay afloat? And it made me think, when I was a kid growing up, and I hit puberty in the 60s, and a time of great trouble socially in this country, and also great artistic, the music was unbelievable, but there was uprest, and there were assassinations. I mean, it was just a crazy time. And the song that came into my head was Crosby, Stills and Nash, wonderful group. The song that had the lyrics, "The darkest hours before the dawn." They were somebody I cleaved to then, and I cleave to now. And I think we all need to find something positive, and not like a saccharine or a phony way of looking at the world that makes us feel safe. I think we need to cleave to the deep, true, safe essence of who we really are. The guy who I looked it up, it's interesting because this channel gives me a reason to get up in the morning. I mean, it's not the only reason, but I get up, I put on a clean shirt, I make sure my hair isn't sticking out this way most of the time. I do a little research. The guy who said it initially, I don't have a note here, but I remember it because I just did it. 1650, a churchman named Thomas Fuller, 1650, talked about the darkest hour is always just before the dawn. And then there were people on Google responding with the science that no, that's not really the darkest hour. And I thought, man, what are these people who don't understand poetry and music and lyrics and making sense of the world in that way? They're just so literal. I found it laughable and cryable. So that was one of the things I was going to talk about, and there we go. There are 3 cards already out. Knight of Cups. The one who moves toward love or moves towards somebody with an open heart. Water energy of Cups, which is about love, which is about connection, which is about the connective tissue between all of us, followed by 5 of Pentacles. That's a card of people needing help in real terms. We've all found ourselves in the position of a want, or you know, when life just doesn't seem like it's enough, or we're really under the boot heel of real 3D lack, or maybe all of the above. Love's on the way. You know, how do you keep an open heart when you're feeling shut out or up against it? Star card. It's a card of healing and faith and the collective. How do you keep an open heart? There's a card to me of the guides, of that Aquarian overview that, you know, where we're guided. This is a card of healing. We're being guided by some kind of celestial map, or, you know, the stars. I think it was Shakespeare who said, the fault is not in our stars, but in ourselves. But I think the hope and the healing is also in ourselves. You know, we participate in this. This is a card of the collective. Something we can tap into when we're in that kind of position, which we've all been in at times, feeling left out in the cold. Love will find a way. That's real. Okay. And under Knight of Cups, King of Cups. Rue, I'm recording. You gonna say hello to us here? Keep moving. King of Cups. From Knight of Cups to King of Cups. So there's a step up in the power of love. This is the one who loves even though it sometimes hurts, who's a bit, you know, sometimes doesn't accept that open-hearted position easily, because this person has already been hurt, feels vulnerable, has been left out in the cold, perhaps. Perhaps a love offer was refused. You know, once burned, twice shy kind of thing. But not giving up on, you know, the power of love. In the 60s, they called it flower power. Ay, ay, ay. Under Five of Pentacles, please. You know, I think that creativity, that song, that churchman, Thomas Fuller, the bards of their day, at least among them, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. You know, I think creativity, poetry, a knowledge of what's sacred. I don't know if it'll save the day, but it'll get us to the next day. Queen of Cups. I love this reading. A match for the king. Love on the move. You know, these two, I think, in a way, save each other and the people around them from this kind of empty, dark, scary place that, you know, when we feel locked out of the sanctuary. They constitute energies in the collective. And I keep hearing save the day. You know, it is the darkest hour, but I think there's reason for hope. I feel it in my heart. Against all odds, against all apparent craziness in the world, I think we give each other shelter and we keep love alive as a collective. what you guys are doing is keep, you're light workers. You're keeping the light alive. That sliver of light, that sliver of hope. Fanning the flames of that. For yourselves, for your nearest and dearest, Queen of Cups, King of Cups, and for the collective itself. Power to the people. Moon card. We've had that in the last couple readings. That's divine feminine water energy, cups energy. Full moon is today. In all these readings, I keep saying, maybe it's today, maybe it's today. Well, this is what lights up the darkest hour before the dawn. It's what goes on behind the scenes. It's like, this is the scene for a lot of people. The fear of being shut out, the fear of the cold, the fear of what happens when you lose your money, the fear of what happens when you lose your house, or you don't have enough to eat. It's 3D challenges. But to me, these are cards of the collective unconscious, the source energy we all tap into, the stories that are common to all of us. The hidden forces at work that ebb and flow and ebb and flow. We might want a constant. And I think in 3D life, change is the constant. This is a 5 card. They speak to change. Outside in the cold, inside in the light, and clarity and collective energy that we share. We're tapped in, and the guides are leading us to some healing energy, to love itself. King of Cups, Queen of Cups, Knight of Cups, Moon. The ability to receive the water energy, the moon. This is a card of Cancer. And all these cups energies. And what is the antidote for this? We love each other best we can. And that isn't it isn't Pollyanna. It isn't saccharine. It isn't put on a happy face. It's not about that. But we've all been, the collective itself, in this position of, loving, being loved, and also experiencing the hardships of life, Pentacles energy, life energy, 3D energy. On King of Cups, yes, Judgment. The call to new life. In traditional Rider-Waite, there are people rising up out of coffins. And there's the darkest hour before the dawn. There's the sun breaking through. The sliver of light. And this is like a loud announcement. The song of the psyche. The trumpet of Gabriel, I think it is. Or who blows the horn? The song of the psyche. And this is the, the collective unconscious, that wellspring that humanity draws from for the stories. Darkest hour before the dawn was some dude in 1650. many moons ago. And I think in a way this can be fear of the unknown. You know, what's in the future for, you know, what's in the future for us? Is it this? Well, that's being healed, you know, on the deepest level. Second to last card in the Major Arcana. Coming back to life. Another card of healing to me. Okay, and it can be a decision to hold on to hope. Is it these? Yes. Okay, bottom of the deck? Yes. We have 7 of Cups. You know, that can be options or confusion or illusion. But I think it's sort of like wherever we turn, there are opportunities for connection. That's on Moon, a card of, you know, the secrets of the heart. You know, and in one cup there's a snake, in another there's a rainbow, in another there's a guy that looks like a deep sea diver. The rose, the severed head, you know, the grapes, the flower. Okay, on Knight of Cups, 4 of Cups. That's that feeling of being, I don't know, abandoned, sort of like 5 of Pentacles. But where Pentacles speak to 3D, this is kind of in the realm of feelings, like all these other cards. Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, King of Cups, 7 of Cups, 4 of Cups. This is all about love and connection here. And this is when you think, you know, love has passed you by. There's the cup being offered. This person doesn't see it. And they're in a kind of stupor. They're asleep. They're gazing off into space because they can't see that offer of love coming right at them from the hand of the ineffable. You know, the thing we don't really have a name for. We can call it essence or spirit or God or, you know, the ground of being. There are a lot of words for it. And even the churchman, that's how they defined him. The churchman, Thomas Fuller, probably had a hard time articulating that thing because it's so, it's kind of the glue of the universe. And yet, can we talk about it? Well, we try. Hierophant on the star card. Card of higher power, of belief. It's Taurus energy. Outside the church. The churchman. Darkest hour. A lot of light and clarity in this reading. And maybe higher power we can tap into when we feel like this. And we can also help other people who feel like this. It's going to change. It needs to change. It needs to heal. It needs to connect us to our own internal higher power. Okay, on Queen of Cups, I don't believe it, 3 of Cups, you know, all water energy, all love energy, all connective energy. And this is, you know, the close circle of connection with your friends. You know, where the cup is passed from person to person. And the little flower here in the cup becomes this mammoth flower in the background here. You know, growth, sweetness, shared affection. Four of Cups. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, we have Three of Cups, Four of Cups. And Three of Cups is on Queen. It's like nurturing, you know, giving of the heart freely as best we can. And that, as we all do it, the collective gets stronger. You know, the more people who kick into the energy, the stronger the collective energy gets. And, you know, we've got our work cut out for us. But it's the work of being the light, shining the light, you know. Listening to the guides on Five of Pentacles, Seven of Wands. That can be a card of defensiveness or of blocking. Maybe there's a resistance to change, or we feel like our way to change our 3D lives is somehow blocked, or we need to protect ourselves and each other from that Five of Cups energy. Let's see, bottom of the deck, I think I need to look at is Seven of Swords. That can be a card of strategizing. It can be lies, deception. Five of Swords shows people leaving the battlefield. This one may be leaving the battlefield too, or, you know, trying to find the way, to think about, okay, find the way. Page of Swords. You know, in that directional sense of Wands, how do I walk a path of discovery and curiosity out of the battle? But I'm developing a strategy to do that. That has to do with sword energy. You know, how do I think my way in a different direction? Perhaps past the block, past the feeling of inadequacy or lack. And I'm noticing, you know, Hierophant has this staff, the kind of, they're saying accoutrement. You know, the symbol, I mean, this guy's got the big hat. He's got that symbol of power, of spiritual power, but also in three, and it's a card of tradition, of, you know, of traditional beliefs. But this is a new path. I think we're going to have to carve a new path. And as my friend said, cleave to what brings us hope and joy. Really hard to do in dark times. The darkest hour. Oh man, talk about the darkest hour. On Star card, card of light. Devil card, card of shadow. Darkness, heaviness, things that hold us back. Well, we're healing that. Star card, devil. And it's hard work to do it. You know, it's something we need to change. And it involves confronting shadow. And I don't think we get out of shadow energy by blocking. We have to look at it, know it, understand it. You know, find in that dark hour, you know, the things we can cleave to. Faith, healing, a new direction. Okay, is it all of these? Okay, we're going to zip through them. Yay! Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo. You know, light up the darkness. You're light workers. You are. That's a card of hope, optimism, warmth. Anybody out in the cold? Entry to the sanctuary being barred. I mean, suddenly I'm getting this is like the immigrant population or being shut out. Bar the door. You know, what kind of melts the thing obstructing the light under the door, the sliver of hope, the sliver of light? Love does. Queen of Cups, King of Cups, we need to embody it. And this is a card of second chances, of new life. The healing power of light. Emperor. Card of Aries. A card of Leo. A card of doing it. And I think this is like, it's sort of the filter or the sieve. What do we want to let in? What do we want to block out? Well, we can't block out what scares us. This can be a card of fear. But it's also, you know, fear having us in a grip that holds us back. It's also the energy of Capricorn working with that fear, working with that shadow, walking the path, the spiritual path. Page of Rods, Hierophant. Strategizing how to do that, thinking about it, thinking about how do we get here. Take control. Lead the way. In fire energy, light worker. You know, there's all this kind of boss energy, Hierophant, head of the hierarchy, Emperor, the one who gets it done. That masculine energy of do it. You know, I know which way to go. I have a plan. I have a strategy. There's a light that leads us out of the dark, and it's inside. Hierophant, star card. High Priestess. Feminine energy of the seer, of intuition, of feminine intuition, paired up with masculine do-it energy. This is a water energy. All this love stuff. That can't really be spoken. But, I mean, we've got to cleave to it. That's what we have to do. Six of Swords. That's moving to the better, the peaceful mental state. Maybe that's part of the strategy. How do we move forward toward that? Toward that belief system that is calm. And again, I'm getting this idea of this sort of refugee aspect. Like we're all refugees. We're all looking for home. We're all looking for stability and security. We all need a way. I mean, this is what we're moving on from. And they do sort of go like this. Like there's anxiety and fear and questions that aren't answered, and then moving on to the calmer place. We're not at that far shore yet. We're moving there. We're headed in that direction. But fear kind of keeps, you know, you're in your darkest hour. You're likely to be scared. But we have sun, moon here. Masculine and feminine energies. the sun's energy shining, the feminine energy receiving the light and reflecting it back to us in our darkest hour. Makes me want to cry. It's cohesive reading. The devil, the darkness, the things that hold us back, the path forward, the spiritual path. We're strategizing about it now and finding a way out, exiting. You know, Seven of Swords I see as somebody exiting a situation. Exiting. Six of Swords. You know, and part of what we're exiting is this fear-based, you know, the voices in our head that say, be afraid, be very afraid. Okay, last two cards. And I've got to stop then because this is long. Another love card, the Ace. Self-love, the beginning, the open heart opening. Lay down the cycle. You know, wrap it up. Whatever's been burdensome, whatever's been too much, close it out so we can open this up. The cup of communion. And Eight of Pentacles. Rebuild it. Manifest something in 3D that we can use, that we can hang on to. And I'm not going to go to the next card. It's a biggie, but we're already at, well, okay, one more. I looked at the time. We have time for one more. It's Tower. Card of Scorpio, of the old paradigm coming down, which liberates our hearts. Scorpio energy, water energy, liberates the heart. Ace of Cups. The card of the soulmate, of a past life soulmate, maybe, of the way we're all connected. Six of Cups, Star card, the collective. You know, we've all been around before. We're all soulmates to each other. And I just can't believe it. It keeps coming. Empress. We have Queen of Cups, King of Cups, Empress, Emperor, Moon, Sun. All these cards of balance and of the energies that complete us. There's a new path, a way out of fear, and we're actually moving there. That's the direction we're heading. Page of Wands. It's a new direction. We have to break trail. Do we have the power to do it? You bet. Devil card, working with what holds us back. Star card, listening to the guides. You know, the whole collective cooperating in this attention. Being able to see it, being able to understand it, to strategize, to move forward out of anxiety. Nine of Swords. To tap into our intuition, into the light. Don't be afraid by the destruction of the old paradigm. It liberates us. You guys, and I have to thank the person, I think it was Gregory, who said, you know, cleave to what lights you up in this time of darkness. Cleave to each other. You know, don't cleave in a way that is like, I can't let go of this, I'm terrified. I'll get it in a death grip. But use that as the basis for our work, our spiritual work. We're here for a reason. Our work is cut out for us. But are we up to the task? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Wrap up the old cycle, embark on the path, because we know where we're going. Thank you very much, you guys. Thank you for your comments. I can't tell you how cool they are. I mean, maybe you read them and know, but they're deeply philosophical. They're very funny, some of them. You know, they're just wise. This collective, let me tell you, out of fear into the light. Keep walking, and I'll see you there.